What is spirituality? Is it anything to do with God? And if I don't believe in God, am I even spiritual?
We don't need to be spiritual, we are spiritual. So in Kali Yuga, as we say, spirituality is very tough to understand but easily available. Spirituality is that you own up for everything that you do. The ego part only comes when you look at spirituality as an achievement and then you become superior to all the other beings. That's not spirituality.
I can see a lot of people taking spirituality as an escapism, where I feel, I want to wrap up everything over here. I don't want to run any more business. I just want to, head to mountains and do my sadhana. Where do people get it wrong? That is it actually that call that they feel that no, right now I really have to be there and do the sadhana, or are they actually treating it like an escapism?
Spirituality cannot be used as an excuse to run away from anything. Spirituality says, face it.
How do I know if a guru is actually the person has walked the path, or is just like a charismatic guru?
Guru is not a person, he's a state.
When we talk about spirituality, it's all about being calm, meditating, no desires, no anger, no ego. It's very moralistic. I want to know about those parts of spirituality that no one talks about.
We always look at God as light, but I look at it completely opposite. At least my experience of Shiv has been complete darkness.
Hello, Guru Meena. Welcome to Uncharted Conversations. An absolute honor to have you here with us. And a big thank you to you for sharing your time and energy with us today. And I'm really excited to start the conversation.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev, ma'am. Okay, so because there's so many things about spirituality that I want to understand from you, I think let's start with the most basic, but I think also a very deeply complex question. What is spirituality? And when I say this, what I mean is that, is it anything to do with God? And if I don't believe in God, am I even spiritual?
You've just wrapped too many questions. So, yes, you're absolutely right that spirituality is a very intimidating subject because people have a lot of notions about spirituality, and some people think it's religion, some people say it's beyond religion, some people say this, that, whatever. Now, let's understand spirituality and then let's understand God separately.
Right.
For me, after so many years of studying and practicing and teaching, I get to understand that spirituality, so every word, Natasha, becomes even more clear when you break it.
Right.
So when you break up the word spirituality, you get ritual for the spirit.
Right.
Right? So spirituality is your day-to-day life. It's what you do with yourself. And I would like to say that it's Dharma. And again, the word Dharma is not Hindu, Muslim, Christian.
Not the religion.
Dharma is the natural law that governs us. Yeah. So it's like when you look at the sun, there is a discipline with the sun. When you look at a tree, it follows a discipline. So a tree knows its dharma, the sun knows its dharma, the moon knows its dharma. They are not governed by any mood swings. So it knows when to rise, it knows when to set, correct? And the tree knows when it has to flower, when it has to give fruits. Somehow everything around us, which is nature, knows dharma because it is dharma. And we have lived a life where we have separated everything from us. So we don't need to be spiritual. We are spiritual. We are born spiritual. We are born with a discipline that we were meant to follow. And then when we forget this discipline, say we forget the discipline of getting up in the morning, eating on time. So what happens? We start getting sick. The body loses its agility. The body loses the health. We start becoming sick on the physical level, mental level, emotional level. And this is spirituality. That when you are somehow restoring your dharma, you're coming back to who you are, where you belong. What is your true nature? What is the nature of your true self? And you don't need to live a pseudo life. This is spirituality. So
Okay.
it's the way you live your life.
Sure. So now here, because in my head, these two things are kind of getting mixed up, right? One, you said that one is our dharma. First of all, how do I know what is my dharma? And second is, we always hear that when anything, we hit low in our life, it is said that it's our karma. People say it's karma. Some people say it's the opportunity to learn. It's opportunity to learn the lesson that we are supposed to, right? Now, are these two things the same? That when I learn my lesson in that given instance and my dharma, is it the are these two things the same? Or then learning those lessons would eventually lead me to my dharma?
Um, so before we talk about this, let's go on to God.
Sure.
Like you said in the first question. What is God? Now, God is a law. Everything is energy. We
Right.
know that. There's a lot of hype about this on the internet and Instagram. Everybody's talking about energy. And
Yeah.
now, what does energy mean? Now, God is a vibration. It's a vibration which feels like ultimate,
Mm.
which feels like coming back home. It can have different forms. Now, energy can have different forms.
Right.
Now, water, you can look at it as vapor or a liquid or a solid. So, it's basically, the energy is the same. It's all water, but these are different forms of water.
Correct.
So, God is a vibration, which is, let's assume it's the highest vibration. It can have different forms for you and me. For me, it could be Shiv and Shakti. For
Right.
you, it could be Ram or it could be Krishna. These are different forms of energy. Now, energy can only be experienced. You cannot prove energy. You cannot prove your love. You cannot prove how much you love someone or how much you hate someone. You can only experience this. So, God is an experiential vibration. And God is a law, which is the same for everybody. It's like the law, when a country runs on law, it's the same for everybody. We all have to stop on the red signal and we all go on the green one.
Yeah.
Now, that's God. But because of so many vices and because of the deteriorating mindset and the logics that we are governed by, we are looking at God as a miracle. That अगर कोई चमत्कार हो तो मैं मानूं भगवान है. Now this is all inside you. All our scriptures say that this is the journey of, you need to understand Dvait and Advait. So from Dvait to Advait is the journey where you start feeling that everything is happening inside me. God is all here. So we've separated everything. हमने सबको अलग करा है. So there's a lot of difficulty in understanding what is God, what is spirituality, what is religion, because we are looking for everything outside.
Correct.
और जब हम अंतर्मुख हो जाते हैं, means when we go deep inside, and spirituality is all going deep inside. You take a deep dive. It's like scuba diving. You don't want to swim now.
Yeah.
आपको सतही बात नहीं करनी. You don't want to talk anything which is superficial. Now you're ready for scuba diving because you get to see the beauty, all that lies under the ocean or the sea when you do the scuba diving, when you go deep inside. So when you start this journey, when you're just silent, you get to know the vibration. You understand that it's all happening inside me. God is all here. Nothing is outside. And that is also a lot of times I say that the dependence on the outside. So in Kali Yuga, as we say, spirituality is very tough to understand but easily available. Just see like how many people are talking about spirituality now. Every person is talking of spirituality. Like popping up spiritual gurus, teachers, mentors everywhere. So that's a good thing that it's easily available. And even though it's easily available, it's very tough to understand because everybody is looking at it from the outside. So it's all inside. So that's God. Spirituality, you can understand it as a discipline you follow. And discipline is not the gymming wala discipline, or gymming is also one sort of discipline, but the discipline I mean is dharma, where you get to know everything about yourself. When you're getting up, when you're sleeping, what time your nervous system is responding. Like, we talk of the 4 types of waves that we have, the alpha, theta, gamma, delta. You just know everything about this machinery because your soul is expressing through this body. So I don't understand when we say that, oh, there's nothing in the body ka kya karna hai, atma. Soul is expressing through the body. Body is a very important machinery. But do you know about your body? Do you know about your panchakoshas? Do you know that there is a annamaya kosha which is to do with your food and nutrition? Then there is a pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya. So we need to understand ourselves a little better. We follow a discipline which is exactly like the Brahmand, as above, so below.
Sure.
What is in the macrocosm is in the microcosm, right?
Sure.
So, yatha brahmande tatha pinde, the Rig Veda says that. The moment you bring your attention here, you are not blaming anyone. You're not criticizing anyone. You're not judging anyone. You're not justifying anything. You're just taking responsibility of your life. You're accountable for your choices because you know that the choices are mine and the consequences are mine. And I've just learned this and I practice it and I teach this for the past so many years, that spirituality is that you own up for everything that you do.
Accountability.
Absolutely. That is spirituality. Like today I can call myself spiritual, but I start blaming someone for something.
Yeah.
That, he's the one who's messing up my life or she's the one who's not being kind to me. No, when you're spiritual, you're just in harmony. So there's no blaming in your life. There's no judging in your life. There's no justification. There's no cribbing. There's no crying. There's no gossiping. So these are the thumb rules when you're spiritual, right? And when you actually start practicing this, it makes so much of a difference. Natasha, I mean, look at it. Like, this is our by default system now that we love blaming. It's like you're late, traffic tha.
Yeah.
I couldn't get ready, bijli nahi thi.
Correct.
We are blaming something or someone all day. How can we call ourselves spiritual?
True.
The moment you say, all right, this is my responsibility. Taking your role with responsibility is spirituality. It's like a movie star, right? You're playing the villain, but you're not the villain, but you're taking responsibility of your role. You're not very serious about your role, but you're taking responsibility. That's the beauty of life. We don't need to be very serious when we are spiritual people. Spirituality doesn't mean आपका मुंह उतरा हुआ है, आप बहुत ज़्यादा stiff हो गए हो. No, life is a dance. You need to enjoy this. Just like Shiv and Shakti did their Anand Tandav. Life is a dance, but you need to take responsibility.
I think in a way it also answered what I asked earlier, that that when we think that it's karma doing, and what is my soul lesson, I think now I understand what you say, that once you're in absolute harmony with yourself, once you have established that relationship with yourself, you would automatically know, right, that right now this is just a phase. And I, of course, like you said, that this somewhere I would have kind of stirred this up somewhere, and now this is my responsibility to take care of the consequences, right? So help me understand, how does one start? And what I mean is, because now when I listen to you, my understanding is that the kind of lifestyle we live, I mean, that lifestyle in itself, what our sages have thousands of years ago scripted for us, that that we should be getting up according to the circadian rhythm, not having any bad thoughts, do your meditations, focus on yourself, inner reflection. I think in a way all of that was actually the way to a spiritual life, which we in this hustle and bustle have forgotten that, right? So how does, in this chaotic life, how does one start to understand and identify oneself? So like you said, we can call ourselves spiritual people and own it.
We are all born spiritual. You see, I mean, that's what I said, that let's not separate spirituality or look at it as an achievement. A lot of
Correct.
times, like we were just discussing before the podcast, that the ego part only comes when you look at spirituality as an achievement.
Yeah.
And then you become superior to all the other beings.
Yes.
That's not spirituality.
Yeah.
मतलब जब आप आध्यात्म में जाते हो तो अहंकार तो हो ही नहीं सकता.
Correct.
अहंकार आपको सुंदरता का हो, आपको अपने ज्ञान का हो, आपको किसी भी चीज का अगर ईगो आ जाता है, so you're not spiritual. When you think you're superior than the others, you're not spiritual. Spirituality teaches us how to be human. And that's the reason why spirituality is now becoming the in thing. And it has already, by the way, especially in the Western countries, who was so awed by the matter world, the material world, the outside. And for years and centuries, they were so awed by the outside. And now they want to go into the inside world. So they're all now rushing here. Correct? And we had it all here. Yeah. Everything has sprouted from here. Yeah. And we are now asking that, what is spirituality? You understand? Yes. How do you start? You just start by taking a deep breath and saying it's all okay. Sab theek hai. And I always say that people are living in guilt and stress and tension and money and debts and relationships and health, and 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds now diagnosed with all kinds of illnesses. What do you think could have happened? What do you think could have happened? There is a sabotage happening. We've all pressed the self-destruction button. Now there is one button which is a self-preservation instinct button. And there is one which is a self-destruction button. And we've all pressed the self-destruction button. Because we are not understanding the balance. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says a very beautiful thing. He says, I'm here to teach you balance. And I'm just using some Hindi words. So he says, na asakti mein raho, na virakti mein raho. Asakti is when you're completely drenched in the material world. House, cars, billions, this, that, all of that, right? And you don't look at anything else. Like, your only way of measuring a person is how much money he would have or what's his social status in today's day and age. So this is asakti, when you're drenched in materialism. Virakti is when you are just running away from life. And you have enough reasons that I got exploited, I don't want to live, I'm running away. Life's not working out for me the way it should be, I'm running away. When you're just shutting doors to life, that is virakti. It's renunciation. And Krishna says, you don't need to do this, you should not do this. I'm getting you to a middle path, which is called anasakti, where you can enjoy all the pleasures of life. You're meant to, like Shiv and Shakti. You cannot live your life without Shakti. Shakti is royalty, correct? She's all the beautiful prosperity and the material desires that we want and we should have. He says, you enjoy all of that. I'm going to give it all to you. But there's also me now. So you need to balance your spiritual and your material. That's when you understand what is prosperity. You cannot have money and then let all the money go into your hospital bills. Correct. Yeah. You cannot have all the money and properties and then you have a divorce and you have to give it all to your wife. That's a demand coming that, all right, now you need to give me this. You see, so there's a whole lot of confusion here that, am I happy? Yeah. Like, there's one question I ask everyone. Are you happy? And they're like, it takes some time to answer that, because happiness is almost like you're trying to be happy. Yeah. You're stuffing yourself with some outside tamasic spirit. All right, now you had a bad day, but you're looking forward to the evening because you can just go out with friends, have a drink, feel that high, which is going to be a hangover the next day. Spirituality says you are always on a high. because you're high on life. And you don't need an outside spirit for that. You are enough. But it
That
all
sounds rich.
starts from that one deep breath and you say, I'm okay, it's fine. I'm not blaming anyone now. I'm taking charge of my life. So you collect all your remote controls, ones with your boyfriend, ones with your husband, ones with your wife, your children, mother, father. You take all your remote controls back and you say, I'm taking charge of my life. I'm going to do what I want to do. But I'm going to be responsible now. And then that beautiful dance of Shiv Shakti begins. The creation that we call the Anand Tandav, as I mentioned earlier. That's what Shiv and Shakti do. And that's what the Ras Leela is all about. The celebration of life. Like, where have you seen God serious? Even when Sri Ram was going on the exile, he had a smile on his face. You've never seen God serious. You've always seen them in a very balanced state. And that's what we need to learn. And that's God and that's spirituality.
That no matter whatever happens,
Balance.
how crushing it can be. Yeah, I think in a way that's also, a way of consolation to ourselves that no matter what happens, that it must be me who started it somewhere. So I think that kind of gives you some sort of
Yeah,
solace.
there's a
And
beautiful story to describe this, Natasha. Once Arjun and Krishna were having this conversation, and Arjun, being his disciple and friend, he just tells Krishna that, small stories, big lessons for this yuga. Just tells him that, what is that one thing you want to tell me? So this is this blank wall, just write it on this wall. And whenever I see this, it should be like a takeaway for me. So that one thing from my guru he wanted. So Krishna says, okay, close your eyes. And Krishna writes something on the wall. And he says, whenever you want, just look at this. And this is going to solve everything for you. So Arjun opens his eyes and Krishna had written, this time shall pass. Ye samay nahi rahega. So which means that when you're on your high, you look at it and you don't need to get egoistic. This time is going to pass. And when you're in your lowest, you've hit the rock bottom. Look at it, the time is going to pass. These are very, very profound anchors for us. The only thing constant is time changing. Transient hai sab kuch. And that's why in spirituality, Natasha, I always say in all my satsangs and workshops, I say, life is fluid. Flow. Everything is transient. Fluidity dekho life ki. You can't stop. You can't say that, okay, I want to think about this. So no, life is fluid. You're going against nature. Worst could have hit you. Be in the moment. You want to experience life, you want to celebrate, be in the moment. Because everything is just flowing.
But I think a lot of people, what you mentioned earlier also, I think I can see a lot of people taking spirituality as an escapism, where I feel, I want to wrap up everything over here. I don't want to run any more business. I just want to, head to mountains and do my sadhana and everything. Where what you said, that spirituality is about living that life and celebrating it and enjoying that abundance that you've been handed over, right? Where do people get it wrong? That is it actually that call that they feel that no, right now I really have to be there and do the sadhana, or are they actually treating it like an escapism? Like, how does one differentiate?
See, I meet all kinds of people, and yeah, you're right, because spirituality is trending now, right? It's on the trend, and it's a pretty cool thing. It's a fad, like spirituality. But one, yes, people don't really know what it means. Two, you cannot use spirituality as an excuse to be complacent. Spirituality pulls you out of your comfort zone. Like a lot of people tell me, Guru Ma, you're like always hammering us. I said, because you don't have to operate from your comfort zone. And your guru is meant to be that light who picks you up from the comfort. Every time I see someone is becoming comfortable, I said, no, your life is going to end here. You come out of your comfort zone. Spirituality cannot be used as an excuse to run away from anything. Spirituality says, face it. Exactly how the Bhagavad Gita begins. The first chapter is despondency. Arjun is tired. He does not want to live. Forget the war. At a time he's saying, छोड़ो, मतलब मुझे जीना ही नहीं है.
Correct.
I would rather go to hell than killing my own people. द्वंद है ना? So this is what we all face every single day. And it was back then, right? So all our scriptures have been written for all the yugas to come. They fit in so perfectly everywhere.
Yeah. But here sometimes I get like a little confused because, for example, the war of Mahabharata has always been said to be that it is here to establish Dharma, right? Now, when you meet, like, by God's grace, I've come across many spiritual mentors. They say that, eventually in spirituality, there's no duality. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong, right? And I was like, if there's nothing right and nothing wrong, then what is dharma and what is adharma? Like, if eventually everything is it as it is, right, then is our journey actually going from this duality, from dharma to that, to reach that stage where there's non-polarity? Or then how do I look at this difference and still be okay with that, there's nothing right and nothing wrong?
Why are you sending your children to school when you know that he is going to be a very renowned medical doctor? Why can't you just straight away put him to the medical school? Why do you want a child to go through the trauma of 14 years of schooling, getting up in the morning, when when someone just says that, oh wow, matlab, Shri Ram aa gaye hain tumhare ghar mein, correct? तो क्यों जाना गुरुकुल? Why go through that? Now, the problem is because of so much of cognitive overload and information overload, we are talking of a state of Shiva. Na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukham, na mrityu, na janam. मतलब कुछ भी नहीं है, पाप पुण्य भी नहीं है, तो पाप भी करो, correct? मतलब कोई categories ही नहीं है.
Correct. Yeah.
How can you suddenly have an access to this
level of
when you don't even know the basics? There are levels. So there are 33 doorways, we have 33 vertebrae in our spinal cord, correct? And that's where the Shakti moves up, or Kundalini, or whatever you want to call it. People are suddenly saying, Meri Kundalini jagrit ho gayi. How is it possible? Aisa hota hi nahi hai. So too much of information is like an information overload where we are collapsing because the generation, so the paradox is, everybody is educated now, like your generation, children in their 20s and 30s, they've studied, well-versed, very good orators, correct? So they understand, but they don't understand the process.
Yeah.
Life is a process.
Correct.
Like you can't suddenly jump into something. It all starts and then it all merges back into the source. Look at a small baby and then see how everything happens, and then in your old age you're again back to the semi-solid food because you don't have teeth. That's how you ultimately merge into the source, back into the source. It's a process, and we can't suddenly create a debate or an argument about agar kuch hai hi nahi, agar unki ichha ke bina blade of grass also is not moving, then why am I doing karma?
Correct.
Let's not make spirituality or our scriptures, ancient scriptures, just a debate. इतना हल्का कर दिया है हमने ना आध्यात्म को, ज्ञान को, that we just sit on coffee tables and just doing some debates. अच्छा ऐसा है तो ऐसा क्यों नहीं है? What about the guru? What about the guru culture? Why did we have gurus in our life then? What about the Gurukul culture? We had gurus in our life where they knew what has to be taught to you at what time. Every king had a guru, and the guru was always sitting by his side. What was the guru doing? There was always a transpiring knowledge, okay, of what you need at what time. Now, a 12-year-old is panicking about relationships and doesn't want to get married. Why does she have an access to what is a marriage? You understand? The mind, the brain, the body, the hormones are not equipped yet to understand what is marriage. So then a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old saying that marriage is a disaster, I don't believe in the institution of marriage, makes no sense. We must introduce this as mentioned, as a stepwise approach. इसलिए सारे scriptures कीलित हैं. They are locked. You cannot understand them without the guru. आप किसी भी scripture को गुरु कृपा के बिना समझ ही नहीं सकते. सब कीलित किया हुआ है. And who has done this? It's all Shiv and Shakti doing this. It's all their game going on. And now we can't suddenly pick up something and say, oh, that God was doing this, so what's wrong? Even I can do it. That's not right. That's not how we can treat this dimension or this vibration. And that's where I think we are going wrong. That's where the confusion comes.
But now you mentioned about the Guru Parampara, right?
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I think most of us people kind of get stuck here.
Yeah.
I feel what you said that, this generation and like the spirituality is the buzzword.
Yeah.
But I feel our generation has kind of understood it, that there's a lot of wisdom and strength rooted in our scriptures and, in our uh, uh, in our culture, right? And we also want to understand it at a very deeper level,
Yeah.
and we are open to learning it from gurus. Now, how do I know if a guru is actually the person has walked the path, or is just like a charismatic guru? How do I differentiate that?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think the Gen Z should be very, very clear about it, because sometimes you're just putting your life at stake by just giving it to someone who is like whatever you said. I'll answer it in a very graceful way. With all due respect to everyone, you see, guru is not a person. He's a state.
Okay.
So which means it's not a gender, it's not a man guru. You'll never say I'm a female guru or I'm a male guru. You'll say you're a guru. Because guru is a state. It's not a person. So you can't be self-dressed and you can't be self-proclaimed. Correct? Yes, it takes a lot of penance. It takes a lot of austerity. It takes a lot of study. And it is your journey. When people look at you as that anchor, and आपको देख के उनके मन से गुरु निकलता है. Guru means someone who is taking you from darkness to light or from ignorance to knowledge. Right? You cannot say, I am the guru. Correct? People over years, they find that respite in you. They find the warmth in you, and it comes from within. And they say, yes, a guru means this. I'm not going to be judged here. I'm not going to be blamed. And I'm going to get something. My answers are coming from here. And they say, right, the guru finds you. You don't find the guru. So whenever you go to find a guru, you make a mistake. The guru knocks on your door. And if that's your faith, and if that's your belief, that whenever I need guidance, I will get it. The right guru will find me. And it happens. At least I can give, I have enough testimonies over these years. But you don't go and tell someone, okay, I'm a guru now. Who's telling you you're a guru? So the tradition of a guru was for a lot of reasons, And if I look at it in the modern terminology today for the modern world, I would say that guru is the anchor. Guru is your go-to person, where you're not being judged for anything. You're not being blamed or he's not partial, he's that impartial energy because he's operating out of Dharma.
Right.
So he's well read. So he knows that there's no point, having favorites here and there. So when you have disciples, you're only telling them Dharma. You are just becoming a medium. So why will an instrument have ego? So one, make sure your guru has no ego. And make sure that, so there's a difference between a credible guru and a authentic guru.
Okay.
Correct? So in the social media age, credibility can also come from the number of followers that you have, right? So the more followers you have, you can be a credible guru.
Yeah.
Like you said, the charismatic ones. Authentic guru would be someone who's well read and who's lived a life that is worth the mention. And everything that he or she speaks comes from the source. And he always remembers that I am just the medium. So he's never going to have a superiority complex. मतलब माइक को कैसे अहंकार हो सकता है कि आवाज उसके थ्रू आ रही है?
How
Right?
beautifully put, yeah.
So the mic is never egoistic, though everything is going through the mic. Now, one day imagine the mic feels, I have it all, correct? We are just the instruments. We are just here to introduce Dharma into people's lives. And because it is Kali Yuga, because we are dealing with so many souls of different caliber and intellect and karmas or whatever, we just need to package it. देश काल परिस्थिति. So spirituality ये कहता है, शास्त्र ये कहते हैं कि हर काल में, हर परिस्थिति के हिसाब से एक गुरु को अपने ज्ञान को ढालना पड़ता है. So that it becomes relatable. People can understand. People can apply it immediately in their lives. Right? And that is, or this is a guru. It's a state. So you don't get attached to the person.
To the guru. You don't get attached.
No. Yeah, you can't. Guru is not, and that's why I said that nowhere you can be a self-proclaimed person. You can't keep adding these adjectives and nouns and pronouns to your name, right? This is something which comes to you. It's a gift which is given to you by Shiv. And then, because one day he realizes that, all right, now you worked for it and now you're prepared to guide the people. It's a sadhana. Like you can't just one day get up only because you can speak well, so you can just be a guru. बहुत बड़ा शब्द है. So there's a difference between a teacher, there's a difference between being a mentor, a coach, and a guru. Guru is spiritual. Guru is someone who's very well read. And there's no sign of ego, correct? Because he knows he's just an instrument. That's the only way I can describe a guru in these modern times.
Nice. I think you're right because I feel, for example, certain sects or certain deities, when we talk about them, and in fact, I think that stands true for all the deities we have, all the kind of energies we have in the spiritual realm. How we say about certain energies that the energy finds you, the deity finds you. You cannot get to know them or understand them if you don't have their blessing. And then someone who has been on that path, who's done that sadhana, suddenly starts to feel, because now they feel, I'm being validated by God, right? I've been able to deep dive so much is only because of him or her. So of course I have more amount of blessing on me, right? And then you kind of start to see through that in their conversations and how they behave with people, how they are also guiding their disciples, right? I think you're right. Somewhere you start to see that spiritual ego. And I feel we don't talk about it much because when we talk about spirituality, it's all about being calm, meditating, no desires, no anger, no ego. It's very moralistic, right? That I want to know about those parts of spirituality that no one talks about.
Well, spirituality has, like when I say for Shiva, I say Shiva is darkness. Like we always look at God as light.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
But I look at it completely opposite. At least my experience of Shiv has been complete darkness. There is a darkness meditation that I've done for years, right? Darkness. When you become comfortable with darkness, you know what is light. Now, we just look at spirituality as something that the moment it pops into our life, some magic will start happening from the next day and everything is going to be hunky-dory. And if it does not happen, ye sab bakwas hai. We've been trained to think like that. And I feel that the most important part of spirituality, which people have not understood, is that there is, of course, like we said, there is no good and there's no bad. And there's no hoo-ha also in spirituality. Correct? We have Tantra also in spirituality. Kama Sutra also is spirituality.
Yes.
There's so much, correct? But, like I said, you can't understand it because you've not gone through the process yourself. So you can't like pick and choose and be selective about spirituality and say, I'm just going to talk about this and I'm going to practice this. Ye mujhe suit karta hai. Either it's there or it's not there. Either you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. You can't be half pregnant. Correct?
Right.
So it's either there or it's not there. And when you go through the process, you realize the first thing is darkness. You have to be comfortable with darkness. And darkness means your most low moments. It's like sitting in a dark room. How many of us can be comfortable with that? No window, no door, just a dark room. It scares the hell out of you. Like I've seen people, they can't even close their eyes. They feel so uncomfortable. Unko lagta hai aanखें kholo. आंखें बंद करने में भी डर लगता है. And it's like sitting in a dark room for hours. Not talking to anyone. This strange sannata, not even silence, sannata. Correct? That is spirituality. that is when you really understand.
What?
Yeah, and that's when you know what's light. How will you know what's light without darkness? Tell me, Natasha.
Okay, see, we have been trained.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been trained to look at spirituality that the day it will enter my life, I will be suddenly this really pure, pious person.
No.
I will not be angry at anyone. I won't have grudge with anyone. But I think what you're trying to put us across is the behind the scenes of when that starts to happen, right? I'm sure that'll take time, but that breaking down of your ego to that extent that nothing of you left behind,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
That, which is a very shabby process.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. And okay, now tell me something. You just said something and it just came to me. You're saying that spirituality comes in your life and then suddenly you become this very pure and sacred person. And then after some time you realize, I'm not this person. Yaar, mujhe andar se gussa aa raha hai. I hate this guy.
Yes.
I want to bash him up.
Yeah. And how do you process those emotions?
Exactly, I'm saying. But this is okay.
Yeah.
Spirituality does not dismiss any emotion. You can get angry. You can dislike. You can hate. You can have less lustful thoughts. You can look at someone and like him and get attracted. It's okay. Like you don't become a sinner. Someone's told us that this is what you need to do.
The checklist.
And I'm spiritual. Aisa nahi hai. I keep saying this again and again in my workshops that I'm not dismissing your emotion. And that's what a guru is for, that if you can come to me and if you can cry and if you can shout and if you can get angry and you can say, I feel like killing that person, nahi ho raha mujhse. Okay, I'm not dismissing any emotion. We are all humans. And this is a part of our lives. Emotion is important. But what your guru does is, he does not let it stay with you for a long time. Okay. The damage is when any emotion stays. So while I don't dismiss any emotion, I don't let any emotion stay in your body for a long time, even if it's extreme happiness.
Oh. That you don't get to be in the eye all the time.
Why would you? Because what's giving you happiness today is going to give you sadness. Now, this guy who comes in your life and makes you very happy today, makes you feel special. Natasha, all right? And then gives you the cupcake and the flowers. Tomorrow, he's not going to give it to you.
But then, okay, they say that when you are absolutely immersed in spirituality, you hit that point where then there is eternal bliss. So is there a concept of eternal bliss?
There is.
There is.
But it's
Is
all
there a high?
inside. There is a high, but it's all inside. Like you're dancing all the time. Okay? It's not dependent on anyone or any situation outside. I call it the sthiti paristhiti concept. There is a paristhiti outside, and one is my sthiti. My sthiti is my sthiti. If the paristhiti is changing my sthiti, how can I be spiritual? Matlab, this guy who gives you flowers and says, I love you. Tomorrow he's not going to do that. That's for sure. For his own reasons. But what is going to be your plight? What are you going to do that day? Now, your world will crash. Like there's no phone call, there's no message. Correct? Pehle to din mein 100 message aa rahe the. Ab there's no message. Now your world is like crashing down. What do? Can you say you're spiritual? You're not. Spiritual is all right. No problem. Your boundaries. Especially in girls, yeah. I mean, I want to say this through this podcast. I mean, for women, I say they're all Shaktis. Please, please, please have your boundaries.
Yeah. I think women should not even, like they say that, you should put yourself out there to find the guy. You should be. I'm like, but I'm a girl, right? I need to attract.
No,
I need to desperately seek out.
Exactly. Yeah. Whether you're looking out for a partner or a lover or a job or a leadership position, Shakti is not meant to hustle.
Exactly.
She is Lakshmi. She is Saraswati. She is Durga. And according to the principles of this universe, she just stays where she is and everything comes.
Interesting. I would definitely touch upon that. I've got a question. But before that, since we were talking about sthiti parasthiti, I also want to understand then what is self-love from a spiritual lens. Because, the kind of definitions and connotations we have heard of self-love, the gymming routine and the self-care, and I'm going for my spa lessons. That's not self-love, because I feel tomorrow, no matter what size I look like, how I'm looking like, what condition I'm in, I should still be able to say that, I love myself with my all total being, right? Which I feel is so, what you said, the parasthiti, that we have created these things around us, right?
So
that
we've defined beauty.
Yeah.
We've defined what beauty is like, what size you have to be, what color you have to be, what hair type you have to be. This is all nonsense.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. And this is what I really want to address. And if this does not get out of our minds, I don't know what the future generations are going to look like. Because when you say self-love, and self-love is a very spiritual word. So every time you say self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-care, self-respect, self-realization,
self-compassion,
bade words hain. Second word pe dhyan ja raha hai. Love, compassion, esteem, confidence, doubt, self-doubt. Pehle word pe kabhi dhyan hi nahi jata, self. Now you need to know what the self is to create that self-love. You need to know what the self is to create the self-esteem and the self-confidence. You don't know what the self means, but you want to now focus on the second word. Self-love is, you look at a child, how he is. Like he'll look at himself in the mirror and like the most beautiful. When has a child said, look at my thighs, look at my calves, look at my waistline, look at my color. No, the child is so obsessed with himself. That's a state of happiness and that's a state of self-love. Where you understand that this is you and you've been created for something more than just the usual. Correct? And the other thing is that I would say that for us today, self-love should be that I will not let any emotion which is disempowering stay in my mind or my body for more than 2 seconds. Gone. Breathe in, breathe out, gone. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, like this holding on thing of all the disempowering emotions, what he said, what she said, what my boss said, what my manager said,
Yeah.
and then the friend just called and said, you know what, you're not invited to this party. I've had cases where girls are in depression because they've not been invited for parties. Can you imagine, like my generation in our 50s, we don't relate to this, but I feel very, very upset and bothered because if the Gen Z, this is how they're thinking,
Yeah.
then imagine what they're going to be when they are our age.
Yeah.
So they're not able to, so when you're able to handle any problem of your life, laugh it off. That is called spirituality, and that is self-love. And that's why you'll see that spiritual people, they're glowing, they're not looking their age, wrinkles are not setting in, hair is in place, no sickness in the body. Why is that? Because spirituality trains you to self-love. I am not going to keep anything in my body or my mind or my spirit which is not adding value. I am not going to meet anyone who is not adding value to my life.
Boundaries.
I have my boundaries. I know from a distance what bullshit you're going to do. So you stay away from me. All right? The choice that a woman makes to preserve herself, okay, and not just be like so empathetic that, because if you're like that, then you have to sympathize with yourself one day. You become empty. So your boundaries are very important. That's self-love. You know how to preserve yourself. We women have this great ability. Somebody is looking at us, we know how he's looking at us.
Right.
We just know this because this is the Shakti in us, the intuitiveness in us. Somebody who looks at us with a lot of love, and there's a you're gazing into my eyes, I know you care. You're on the phone and you're talking to me, I don't care, I don't want to talk to you. This is my self-preservation instinct. You want to have a conversation with me, you look at me and you be 100% present, because that's what I do. Right? Now, I do my best. And you're like this casual with me, you know what, communication, it's okay, we had that. No. That doesn't work with me. So I have my boundaries. This is self-love. And when you can do this without having any guilt, with your children, with your partner, with your friends, my God, I can tell you, Natasha, your posture, the grace with which you carry yourself, your shoulders, everything just changes. Because now you're worthy. Now you know that you're worthy of being called the divine feminine. आप एक शक्ति हो भाई, कोई साधारण female नहीं हो आप. And that's why we are fighting for our rights today, and people call it toxic feminism. Because we don't know the true Shakti inside us. We don't know how to really empower ourselves, but we know, let's fight. Let's abuse like a man. Let's behave like a man. Let's dress up like a man. Maybe. No, this is all wrong. We are feminine. We are born with so much beauty. Correct? Why would I want to dress up like a man? Why would I not be the best version of the woman I am? Right? This is self-love.
Yeah, I think, the idea of freedom, because we were suppressed for such a long time that our only reference of freedom were men around us. And we were like, acha, free aise hote hain. I can wear what I want, I can do whatever I want. And we just copied and pasted it because we literally didn't have any reference, any example to look forward to. Okay, this is how a free feminine looks like. And in doing that, I think we got so disconnected with our own femininity that we all, and I always say this, we copied the wounded masculines. And then we also got disconnected from our femininity. So I'm hyper masculine, but I'm a hyper wounded masculine. And now I don't even know how to get back to my feminine self. So I think especially our generation. And why I say our generation is because I think my mother's generation, they were still the kind of people who were living with the families, trying to adapt. Like, I feel my mother was a feminist even when the word was, she even knew the word that what feminism means, right? But she, the society told her a different story, but she was like, it's not making sense to me. But she still tried it to adapt herself, right? And looking at that, when I saw that, I was like, it's a very thankless job. And I always say this I think when I was growing up, I realize I don't want to be a woman, not because I don't want to be, I want to be the man, but because I don't want
be the
to,
woman that you've
I
seen.
don't want to live that life.
True.
And suddenly you were like, no, but being a woman, it's not cool, it's not, And now when I'm at this age and I'm like, no, yeah, being a woman is pretty cool, Now if someone asked me that, would you like to trade place? I was like, no.
No, yeah, that's true.
I'm very happy with what I am.
That's exactly what I said, that the earlier generation,
Yeah.
probably you don't get that feeling when you sit with your grandmother.
Yeah.
You would get that feeling when you sit with your mother,
Yeah.
because this generation's 50s and 60s pretty confused because we didn't know what to do. अब हमने पढ़ाई तो बहुत कर ली थी, but then we were managing homes also.
Yeah.
But then I feel that it's okay. वो भी अच्छा time था, ये भी अच्छा time है. Like, we never judge and blame any generation. But having said that, I feel for the younger girls today, I feel that there has to be, so usually I'm asked a spiritual guru, a female spiritual guru. I said, so what is with being a female spiritual guru? Like, if you're a lawyer, would you go and say, I'm a female lawyer?
Yeah.
I'm a female doctor. I'm a female gynecologist.
Yes.
I mean, you are just what you have achieved.
Yeah.
And your capability and मतलब कामयाबी और सफलता, और ये आसानी से नहीं मिलता है. But for women, it's always been difficult. It's always been difficult. But because I'm a female, I'm wrapped in a female's body, right? But when I speak to girls or women, wounded, absolutely, the first thing I say is, enjoy your femininity. Being the feminine is about being like the Adi Shakti. And look at all the goddesses, unapologetically who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Correct?
Yeah.
Just, itna chota hota hai na, that we've been trained, that's how the society has wired, that if your husband is in a good mood, then you will dress up. You don't feel like dressing up if your husband is not in a good mood. Yeah. There's a reason for you to dress up, So it's a very, very small, basic thing, but you just look at a woman and you're like, no, yeah. You're Lakshmi. You're supposed to be Saraswati. You're supposed to be Durga. You're like the pillar of your house. Right? Shakti, the mother, she's the stump of the house. How can she be like so disempowered and having mood swings all the time? Do we not realize that the way we have been created, even biologically, correct? There's a lot of power in that. We can do things if we are able to channelize that energy. All right. There's just one, lecture I'm going to do about menopause.
Oh, okay.
That when you hit your menopause, so of course, perimenopause is like that 7-8 years, sometimes 10 years of extreme changes happening, and then nobody needs to understand. You understand what's happening. Don't have expectations from anyone. Nourish your body. Work on yourself. Correct? But spiritually, we say that after the menopause, because now there's no release happening, so there's no leakage of energy happening. So now is your time for the energy to rise. So it's a beautiful time. That's why we say that after menopause, it's like a woman can now enter her true spiritual self. Because now she has all that energy conserved. So now her thought patterns are changing, her biology is changing, her chemistry is changing, and now that energy can rise up. The Kundalini, as we call it, the Shakti. Right. So now she has more access to that energy. But nobody's told her that.
Yeah, it's pretty much shamed, to be honest, right? They also get very confused that, oh my God, will I stop being a woman now? Right? This is how women have looked at it, hating menopause. But
Because
no
she's
one,
all the time only getting hot flashes. I mean, menopause is hot flashes and
yeah,
mood swings.
yeah.
But there has to be someone, there has to be some divine intervention in your life who tells you about your body, about your skin, about your phase, and says that it's okay. You don't need to be shameful if you have desires. Okay, don't be shameful. It's okay. You can have it. It's not just about the other person, it's about you also. All of these things, is self love.
Yeah. I feel now when I understand, and I don't think so. I'm evolved enough to understand the potential of Shakti, but whatever little from my humble understanding I've gauged about Shakti is that I think a lot of our lives that we have constructed, it is not as per a feminine energy. It's not as per a woman, right? We just kind of adorn these clothes, come here, work, stress ourselves out, hustle, go back. But the way our world is functioning right now, it's not as per women. This is what I feel. And since you are in the spiritual realm, I wanted to know from you that have you also felt the same, that a lot of our spiritual concepts, they are not palatable to women, or they're not as per women? Do you also feel that?
It's not it's because spirituality is not a concept. It's being recreated in a way that it doesn't suit women.
The packaging, yeah.
Yeah, the packaging is such. I agree to that.
Yeah.
But if you go down the ancient route, there is absolutely no distinction, because they've said soul. Soul is asexual. It is gender free. Adi Parashakti, or Mahadev, when we look at the Shakti and the Shiv, Ardhanarishwar, there is no concept of male and female. There's only a masculine and feminine. All your ancient scriptures have not divided basis anything. Gender, social status, anything. There's no division. Everything happened a lot later. Everything happened because of the invasions and the way, women were treated, and that became the narrative of that time, etc., etc. And it's very sad to see that it still exists today. And a woman has to be very strong to fight it. You face it everywhere.
Even
ask
really?
me all the time.
I want to know any bias that you faced where you felt that you had to earn the seat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, I will say this without shame, that it takes a lot of time for a man to admit that there's a woman guru who knows more than me. And they sometimes even have that, यहाँ रुक जाता है, गुरु माँ बोल ही नहीं पाते, यहाँ रुक जाता है, because they think they know it all. They just have this thing in them, and I can read it, but now I make them so comfortable. Oh yes, you know it all. Absolutely. मुझे क्या मतलब, like, why do I need to show and prove that I know more than you? And what you're speaking makes no sense. I let people be. But yes, we do face it. Sometimes I've had these experiences where you go on certain platforms, and there are 5 people sitting, all spiritual people, and all males, and you're the female there, and the mic comes to you, and you start speaking, and somebody just cuts you off, and I say, okay. But then you go and tell the organizer, then why did you have me? You should have just had a male platform, right? I do face that. There is a prejudice. I will not lie. But you know what? We must agree to this, that there is a prejudice, but we need to be very courageous to fight it. काबिल होना बहुत जरूरी है आज एक लड़की के लिए. कामयाब और काबिल लड़की इस समाज से नहीं सही जाती. This is a very, very dangerous combination for our society, कि आप काबिल भी हो और आप कामयाब भी हो. ये नहीं देख सकता समाज हमारा, but देखना होगा. They don't have a choice, right? But there is a way to fight the battle. That's all I say. Morcha's not needed.
Mm.
We don't need to be a rebel. We don't need to take our fights to the court.
Yeah.
It all begins from here. You know you deserve it. You fight it.
Mm.
I don't want a reservation anywhere. Treat me equal. Because I can also lift a weight. Cylinder utha sakti hu main bhi. For that, I don't need to call my husband or my son or someone, right? So when I'm proving that I can do this weightlifting, then you better understand that I am capable of this.
Mm.
We need to prove. Now, we can't be delicate here. Oh, I can't do this. And then demand something here. आप भी अर्धनारीश्वर हो. You also have that strength in you and you have the softness in you. You can do both.
Yeah.
So when we start looking at ourselves like this, I think we will never need to fight. We will be the real Shakti, the calm. She's always calm, yeah? She's watching. फिर वो एक ही बार होता है ना फिर. Like you've seen the stories, right?
Yeah, I feel, with Shakti also, I feel that she's given this, जैसे बच्चों को खिलौना दे देते ना, हाँ ठीक है, you play. And she comes when she's like, अब बच्चे से handle नहीं हो रहा, अब मुझे, I have to step up. This is what I feel that, fine, you want to like entertain your prejudices, it's okay. When we'll come, we'll come. Yeah.
But don't you feel that we need to have communities of women who are like this? Like,
Yeah.
how can you fight your battle alone, and how can I fight my battle alone, and how can she fight her battle alone? And that's the reason I say that we need to have, even in the field of spirituality, we need to have more spiritual gurus where women are representing that.
Yeah.
And that's only possible when women have worked on themselves.
Yes.
Because you only get this title, or you only are looked upon as a coach or a mentor or a guru when you have worked on your life.
Yeah. I agree, because even I see that there are not many female spiritual teachers, there should be, but we don't come across many. And what you right now shared was regarding, the spiritual gurus. But has it also happened that the disciples who are these ardent bhakts of Shakti, that, they are all about Shakti, are they equally open to and receptive to actually learning from a female spiritual guru? कि भक्ति में तो मुझे शक्ति चाहिए, लेकिन are they open to learning from a female spiritual guru?
Forget a female spiritual guru. So many times these ardent bhakts of Shakti are not even respecting their mothers.
Yeah.
And their wives. They're abusing their, you get cases and you're like, my God, ye abhi bhi ho raha hai.
Yeah.
Right? Exploiting like uncles exploiting their nieces.
Yeah.
So forget spiritual gurus. The bhakts of Shakti, when you're keeping your Navratri fast and you're announcing to the whole world that, 9 days of fasting mein hu, correct? And you don't even know how to respect a woman. Or then sometimes I also see men, not all, I've seen the most wonderful men also. But it's just a thing that we're just discussing, that where you see the dichotomy happening. You would go to the temple and you would do Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di. And then sometimes you're also okay with your wife, but what about the women outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you? You're not even treating the women. You're not even looking at them with respect. You're always about, this look. Like I had this girl coming and telling me once that, and she's a nice girl, and she's like, every time some man looks at me, I get a feeling that he's thinking I'm available. I said, why do you get that feeling? I said, it's your feeling. How can anyone give you that feeling? That's how I handled her. But then I'm not surprised that, how men look at you? It's almost like, am I okay? That's why I like the Western world a lot. When you go to the West and you look at someone and then you look at him again, so that immediately that girl will say, is everything all right? She'll say, okay, hello, why are you looking at me?
Yeah.
Yahan par, they'll keep looking, they'll look like this, they'll look like this. It's so sad, yeah. You're almost objectifying girls and women all the time. And then because of this, a girl says, अब देखो अब मैं क्या करती हूँ. Like in a world where we are saying a man is a narcissist, do we not know that we are raising our girls like victims? A narcissist needs a victim, and we are raising our girls like victims. You need spiritual strength to fight this situation.
True. I agree.
You
I
cannot fight it in the court. You cannot fight it with power. You cannot carry a pepper spray in your bag and say, I'm powerful.
Yeah.
That's not power.
Yeah.
Your internal power. Like you, somebody looks at you and you look back and you make him uncomfortable and you say, excuse me.
Right.
And I've seen it all the time in the Western countries. But then we always say, right, that they really respect their females, partners and their lovers and all of that. That doesn't happen here because you just feel you're taken for granted.
Yeah. It's like, you're almost sorry for your existence. You're like, oh, I'm
and
so
it's
sorry I'm a
very
woman.
sad, Natasha. It's
Yeah.
very sad. I mean, as a woman, I've gone through a lot, like you have your own journey. It's not been easy.
Yeah.
Because when I also started, I was very young. And, people would make all kinds of comments. And because in your younger days, how the society is. I think the only thing I had inside me was my spiritual strength. And I said, okay. And I never had the guilt of cutting people from my life. Like that's one thing I'm blessed with. I can cut people.
Yeah.
If you don't serve my energy, like if you're not adding value to me, get lost. I don't need you. Because in spirituality, एक तरफ तो आप साधना कर रहे हो, you're accumulating all the energy. And दूसरी तरफ you have these drains. So whenever I see someone draining my energy, whenever I see someone who's not respecting my space, I'm not there. Like I can just cut myself off. And that is my preservation instinct. I preserve my energies with that. And that's the reason why spiritual people are never afraid of being lonely. There's nothing called loneliness. There's solitude. Like you enjoy yourself, your me time, and you're alone and you're with yourself. All right, there's no drain around you. You're just accumulating, celebrating, accumulating. That's it.
So according to you, how does a fully spiritually awakened woman looks like? Like, is she an energy to be fearful of? Is she, because like you said, unapologetic, right? How's that feminine look like?
She'll partly be like me. Partly be like me. I'm still work in progress.
Yeah.
Because when you're in grihasthi also and when you're a spiritual teacher also, तो वो गृहस्थ संत जब आप होते हो ना तो बड़ी problem होती है. So संसार भी है, परिवार भी है, संसार भी है, परिवार भी है. So you're like this pendulum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't lie. She partly looks like me because I have like everything very, very clear. But I'm still work in progress. But I think the true Shakti would be very well aware of herself. She would not throw her moods around anywhere. Like she will know how to channelize her energy. While she respects everybody around, she's carrying out all her roles with utmost responsibility. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a daughter-in-law, sister, whatever. She does all her roles with utmost responsibility. Okay, but she knows who she is. She has that power to detach from something which is not serving her purpose. She knows, she's fully aware. Now, I'm not saying that spirituality would mean that she's only doing bhajan and fasting and upvas and all of that. No, that's not being spiritual. Half of the women in our country are doing fasting and all of this out of fear. ये हस्बैंड के लिए फास्ट रख रहे हैं, ये बच्चों के लिए फास्ट रख रहे हैं, अपने लिए भी रखो फिर एक दिन अपने लिए भी रखो. I agree. Correct? Then it's okay, then it's justified. So everything is done out of fear. Shakti is fearless because she understands that Shiv Shakti ke bina shav hote hain. Shiv is like that unmanifested potential, that seed which has got nothing, like is unmanifested. Only when the seed is sown in the soil can it have life. Only when Shakti enters, Shiv can prosper. So if you understand how important you are, and आप ब्रह्मा बन रहे हो, आप सोचो 9 months के लिए आप ब्रह्मा बन गए. It's not a man's gift. This is not gifted to a man, right? हिरण्य गर्भ, we have the womb inside us. हम चलते फिरते सृष्टि हैं. A woman is like a walking srishti. We become Brahma for 9 months. We can write the destiny of our child. But how many women know that? How many women can actually harness that power? She's upset, she's crying, she's cribbing, people are saying something, you know, and then all of that. Then she's smoking and drinking and, you know, all the vices, everything. Then what is Brahma doing? Then what are you doing? You are writing the destiny of your child. That is what is called Garbh Sanskar. So you're supposed to be in a discipline. That is spirituality. So the day a Shakti knows that she has the power, then you see how our home, our society, our organizations, it's going to be a different place altogether.
I do believe that, you know, we have short sold ourselves so much that the little bit that we earn, we feel, oh my God, you know, I'm independent. What we have failed to realize is that money can just take care of your family, but bringing a whole new generation, like what you have, the gift that you've been bestowed with, you are the one who can make or break generations. This money will only take care of your family for the time being. But the gift that you have, it can literally make or break generations. And I think we don't own that power, you know. We just look at it, ki, haan, theek hai, bacha hai, but we don't own it. That this is my power, this is my gift. So, but yeah, I feel with time, with more gurus like you, I think we would lead to that path also.
You know, Natasha, there's just one thing. Authentic knowledge, wisdom, or an authentic guru will never try to break you or your relationships. He's just gathering all your pieces together and making something beautiful. You know, like as a spiritual guru, I will never say take a divorce until it's like so toxic and so bad. I will always try to resolve it and bring the marriage back. Or any sort of discontentments or any sort of issues that we have in a person or with people outside. This is such an important message because usually we want to hear what we want to hear. And the moment someone says something which is what we don't want to hear, we discard that. A guru usually talks what you don't want to hear. Because a guru is only talking to you about reality, about the truth, about dharma. So that's why sometimes maybe the children, the Gen Z, get very uncomfortable with this whole idea of a guru, because a guru is someone who will just speak what is the truth. And you don't want to hear the truth.
That's true. One question that I have, and this is honestly that this comes from a very selfish place because I want to understand it. I think I started this right at the first question also, that when we get hit with anything, right? When there's a crisis, right? We, like, the way I now look at things, because I've done so much of karma podcast that I'm like, okay, I understand a bit that it is my time to kind of reflect on I must have done something, and you know, I need to learn my
You've done something, that's why you're doing so many karma podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. That I need to learn some lesson. But in that one instance, I think there can be so many lessons to learn, right? For example, hypothetically, someone is maybe in a bad relationship, right? And maybe they are not earning. One lesson can be, oh, I need to be independent. One lesson can be, I need to build in that forgiveness and compassion for the other person because this person doesn't know what that person is doing and still love that person. One can be just, building a lot amount of self-love. Now, how do I know which lesson am I supposed to learn from it?
I think we think too much,
Hmm.
right? We should let the lessons reveal.
Okay.
The problem is we don't have the patience. So our mind is all the time thinking, what did you learn? What did you learn? Sometimes there's no lesson.
Yeah.
कोई ज़रूरी थोड़ी है lesson होना. Sometimes it's just a part of life. It's like when you're in the ICU, the moment you see the straight line, the doctor panics.
Yeah.
But then the moment those lines start coming, the up and down graph starts coming, the doctor is relieved.
Yeah.
That's life. This is life. And why do you want it to be so smooth and a straight line? Number one. Number two, sometimes there are no lessons. And why do you want to hurry up in life wanting to know the lesson? Was it this? Was it this? Just let it be. It'll reveal.
So that I can get done with the karma quickly and
There
move
is
on.
no khalas. There is no khalas with karma. There is no, this is not karma.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we do know there is a possibility to dissolve the karma. So don't just keep telling yourself what was the lesson, what was the lesson, what was the lesson. Let it reveal. It will come to you. Like we need to just relax sometimes
Yeah.
and just enjoy the bumpy ride.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think
I mean,
that's
you want to go to Dubai on a desert safari
Yeah.
for that experience.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
I think that's the control freak in me. It's like, tell me, what does it tell me? I
Nahi
need to
hota,
get it.
Natasha. Sometimes,
Yeah.
and sometimes, being silent just helps you so much, right? And I just feel enjoy the bumpy ride.
So towards the end, please enlighten us. That is enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment. Like, is it actually a state of consciousness? Or is it again a marketing buzzword that we have been hearing now for so long? What happens in enlightenment and what it is to be enlightened soul?
Okay, for me, an enlightened soul, of course, is work in progress. Like it's not the end. It's who you're becoming on this path. It's a long path. But for me, what I realize is in a state of fluidity, being in the present moment, extreme gratitude. Itna shukrana, extreme gratitude. Not like an exercise that you get up in the morning and you write your gratitude. Being in that state all the time.
Like not as an action that I have to.
Not as a karma,
Yeah.
okay, now I have to do a gratitude journal. No, just be in gratitude. And in the present moment, just flowing like water. And this is so beautiful it is. Lovely energy, actually. In fact, when you just asked me this question, I used to answer it like this when people used to ask me a couple of years back. And I related it to a very beautiful Qawwali that is one of my favorites by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab. It says, इस करम का करूं शुक्र कैसे अदा, जो करम मुझ पे मेरे नबी कर दिया, मैं सजाता था सरकार की महफिलें, मैं सजाता था सरकार की महफिलें, मुझको हर गम से मेरे बरी कर दिया, इस करम का करूं शुक्र कैसे अदा. Wow. And it resonates with me when it says मैं सजाता था सरकार की महफिलें. It's like you're doing your satsangs,
Yeah.
you're just like, my work is 24/7, I'm in the spiritual zone. 24/7. And I was just doing it. मतलब सरकार की महफिलें सजाता रहा, in my words, शिव, I was only about शिव शिव
Yeah.
शिव. मुझको हर गम से मेरे बरी कर दिया. मतलब इतने करुणामयी है वो. Like he resonated so much with my love for him that I was in his zone all the time. That's what I kept doing. That he just took away all the pains of my life. You know? And this is me. Like, this is me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Guruma. Thank you for all the nuggets that today you have shared, all the precious nuggets that you have shared with us. And I really hope that, we have contributed to your purpose of making spirituality packaged in a way that our younger generation can relate to it. I hope that we have done some bit of it today. I know it's a long journey, but really, really honored to have you here today, and
It was an
delightful
pleasure.
conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you
it
so
was an absolute pleasure speaking with you, Natasha. Wonderful energy.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful
Thank you.
energy. And I think I enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much for
Likewise.
this. Har Har
Thank you.
Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev.